Hey, how's it going?
I think I'm here successfully,
You are. I can hear everything you're saying.
and you can see me. Apparently, I turned my camera off like 3 seconds before we actually came on.
Got it. Yeah, I wasn't panicked.
Good. I believe you.
Um, you know when you haven't seen something in a while and you kind of see it again with fresh eyes, maybe you notice something or it just hits you different. Our intro video is really cracking me up this time.
Oh, that's good. I'm
Mm-hmm.
glad. I thought you hated it.
No.
Do you are you sad that we don't have an intro video when we do the dev show and tell
Hmm.
with our other friends?
We gotta save some stuff for the original.
Keep it special.
Yeah.
Do you think that I should make a different one? Or
No.
obviously we wouldn't use the same one because that would be weird.
Right.
That's not what I mean.
I don't
Do you
think you
think that I
have
should
to.
make one?
No,
Okay.
I don't.
I was thinking that I have off tomorrow of
Oh,
work,
nice.
tomorrow and the next day and Monday. I have a 5-day
What?
weekend.
What?
Yeah. It's because I kind of burned myself out a little bit so far this year, and I needed
Oh,
a break. So,
got it.
um, I was thinking about making a super cut of
Oh.
some of the best moments so far of that
Hmm.
of show and tell with
I'd be
some
into
of my
that.
time tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought you might. I thought you might like that. How are you doing, John? It's four
Uh,
degrees.
yeah, it is super cold in Minnesota. I have not been working in my basement office for quite a while, but I come down here to record because it's too loud in my house,
Yeah.
in my wife's office. So when I came down, it was 62 degrees down here. It's now up to 65 because I got the space heater going.
Oof.
But it's pretty rough.
Chilly. Um, it's too loud in your wife's office, as in too echoey. You can hear other
There's not even a
people.
door.
Other
I
people
mean,
can
it's
hear you.
just yeah, it's just like this
All
office
of it.
area at the front of the home, and it's yeah, there's no door or anything, so
Yeah.
um, doesn't work.
Yeah. I am. I think we've talked about this. I am basically underneath our bedroom,
Hmm.
and my wife has told me that she can basically hear everything, and
Oh, okay.
she hates it.
And she
So
hates it. But then isn't this a good time to put
she
the old
hates it.
headphones in and listen to a podcast?
Yeah. I think she has talked about using earplugs.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay.
My life's not perfect.
Um,
Um,
I'm seeing
have you,
a little bit
do you
of
have snow?
internet
Do you have to go out and
issues on
shovel it?
your side with your video. It
Who
seems
are
to be
you?
snapped back into place, but I just thought I'd mention that. What were
Hmm.
you asking me?
I
Is
thought it
it?
was coming from your side.
It could be. Who knows? Maybe our viewers will tell us. Our pretend viewers.
Silence. So in addition to the 4 degrees, do you have snow that you have to shovel?
It has snowed a little bit, but not very much. And I think I've turned the snowblower on one time this year so far. Um,
Like today? Do you have snow?
no.
Or yesterday, I guess maybe.
I mean, we had like a little, but like not enough for a lazy man like myself. Like I don't have a sidewalk in front of my house, so I don't actually
Oh,
have any responsibility to anybody.
sweet.
Yeah.
Except yourself. Do you take
Except
advantage of that?
myself.
Like, are
Oh yeah.
you just like
There's
you
snow in
always
the
have like
driveway right
crap in the
now.
driveway?
Like I don't care.
Huh. You don't get yelled at because somebody's gonna slip on it on the way to the car?
Who would yell at me?
Your wife? Your kid? I
She
don't know.
they pull into the garage and exit the vehicle in the garage where there's no
Oh,
snow.
you you have like an attached situation.
Yep.
I don't live in one of those houses.
I live in the suburbs, dude.
Fancy houses.
Yep.
Um,
2014 construction.
I'm almost 100 years old.
Yep.
Um, yeah, if there's like snow and ice in our driveway, somebody slips on it
Got it.
walking from the garage to the house. So,
Got it.
and I do have a sidewalk in front, so I have to take care of that too. But
Yep.
we were supposed to get anywhere from 3 to 10 inches today, and it is looking more like 10.
Damn. So you've been doing some incremental shoveling today?
Yep, I've been out once, and I'm gonna go out again after this.
Well,
It's great.
I know
I love it.
I know that feel, but it hasn't happened this year for me.
No, this year has been almost as miserable as last year in terms of snow. Um, and it is cold too, though. Like
Yeah, it's so
shoveling, my
cold.
fingers were like in pain.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I guess I'm just grumpy.
Yep.
Anyways, John, what else you got to talk about? Anything?
Um, I don't think so. Just trying to survive this. This is a hard phase of winter, where it's
Yeah,
just really
February.
brutally cold. Um, but I will have a break to go to California, and I'm looking forward to
Nice.
that. So
That sounds great. It is the shortest, longest month. It is weird
yeah.
how brutal this month is. I hate it.
Yeah.
But we're
How about
like
you?
halfway through it. So
Yeah. Are
that's
you finding your way through this winter time?
like I said, I kind of maybe burned out on work a little bit
Mm.
over the last month and a half. And so I am very much looking forward to a little break there.
Yeah.
I also realized that you and I definitely talked about this off stream, but I think we've talked about it on stream too, a little bit. Um, December, I was just crushing it in terms of doing like art projects and being really
Yes.
good about that.
Yes.
I am not being good about that right now.
Mm.
I haven't really worked on an art project since like beginning of January. So that's the other thing that I intend to do tomorrow is take
That's
some time. I have a project I have a draw. I've talked about this in the past, I think, but I have a drawing that I'm ready to start carving into linoleum, and then or fake linoleum because I'm gonna print it on a shirt for a friend. So
nice.
I just have to like do the transfer tomorrow, and then I actually get to start carving, which is like, whew, just delicious.
That's the
Um,
fun part.
yeah, that's the fun part. That's the part where I lose myself.
Nice.
Um, so I'll spend some time on that.
Okay.
I'm also thinking another thing that I want to spend some time on. This is probably more of a show and tell thing conversation, but you remember how at the last show and tell I showed off how I was attempting to use, I can't even remember the name of it right now. Not astronomy.
So-
What the heck was it? Aerospace.
Yeah.
The aerospace tiling manager. And my conclusion was I can't use it because I can't run it when I'm screen sharing. I think I want to try again, and I think I want to be more like you. Actually,
What's that?
You've inspired me.
Okay.
I think I'm finding ways, especially because the browser that I use, Microsoft Edge, has maybe it's been out for a while, but I only recently noticed. But they have this thing called collections. Sorry, I was trying to trigger my memory.
Yeah.
It's called collections, which is basically just like saving tabs. It's probably exactly like bookmarks, except you save them in groups, and then you can like reopen the entire group collection.
Okay.
And I think that that's a nice way for me to. A lot of times I leave browsers open just because I don't want to lose the context, or I don't
set
want
of
to lose like
tabs.
the set of it. Yeah. So I think if I get better at creating collections and then just closing them, I'll be more like you. I'll like have a clean workspace, and I
Mm.
will have less problems running that tool. So I'm hoping to play around with that over the next couple days too. Big plans, big plans.
I sometimes get the feeling that you think I'm so much more disciplined than I really am. Um, but
John,
if
you're
it
perfect.
if it is inspiring in some way, then that feels good.
I mean, yeah, it's probably all of those things are probably true.
Okay.
It is inspiring.
Okay.
I also think you're perfect.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Do you want to program computers with me?
I'd love to. Thank you for asking. Would you like to do the same with me?
Yeah. What do you think we should work on? Should we work on your Raycast extension?
Yeah, is that okay? We're like so close to wrapping this thing up, and I think after today, I will be far enough. We will be far enough with it that I will be using it regularly, and we won't have to touch it anymore if we don't want to.
Nice.
Okay, cool. I don't have my keyboard lit up. I got to do that. Um, okay. So let me kind of find my place.
Okay.
And figure out where my windows are at.
Oh, I had a really good run yesterday, and my body hurts today.
Ah, look at you. I love it.
My knees all hurting. I did like ice last night. Oh man.
I love it. So it's going well? The
Yeah,
gym?
I
The
felt
gym
I
membership?
felt great. Yeah. Last week, I might not have said this to you. Jack was sick all week last week, and it just was through like complete chaos into my life. He was here
Really?
all the time. I was like chained to this kid. Like, yeah,
Yeah, and
it's
he's
terrible.
at an age where like he can't be sick on his own.
I probably could have. I just didn't. And, like I wasn't feeling 100%. I was kind of fighting it off too. So, anyway.
Hmm.
So, I was kind of a slacker about going to the gym. But I pushed myself on Saturday and then I pushed myself yesterday. And I was really happy with the results.
Good. I'm
Oh, you
glad.
know what? You're still getting set up so I can keep jabbering here.
Keep
I
talking.
went to my first yoga class. I've never been to
What?
yoga before. And I don't know if
Oh,
like
tell
the
me more.
like the types of yoga are like universal or if it's like everybody does it differently. It was called yin yoga. Does that mean anything to you?
I think yin is one where you hold poses for a longer time, right? Is that right?
And maybe a little more meditative or something.
Okay. Maybe I'm thinking of a
I
different one.
hated it.
Yeah.
I the way it works is when you sign up, you get like spots on the floor, and people are kind of weird about like their spots. And
Hmm.
anyway, the way it worked out, Jess was not next to me. Um, so I was kind of,
Oh.
and it was like a dark room, and I've never been to, I don't know any poses. So this woman is like
Yeah.
narrating what you're supposed to be doing. And like,
Yeah.
Steve, literally, this is my learning disability. Like when I was in, junior high
Uh,
and high school, like oral directions were like a part of like what I could not do. So I'm already like, what is she saying? And like looking around at different people and what they're doing. And I'm
mhm.
aware that there's this idea of like the pose has some definition, but everybody
Mhm.
kind of does what works for them. So I'm
Mhm.
looking around for trying to figure out and like everyone's kind of doing it a little differently, like what works for them. So
Yeah.
I can't even like look around. I just
You
I was
hated it.
so preoccupied with I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know if I'm
Everyone
doing
is
it right.
noticing. Everyone's gonna make fun of me.
I kept thinking she was gonna like tap me on the shoulder because they kind of like walk around the room.
Hmm. Yeah, do some
Um,
little adjustments for you.
yeah, and then
But she
like
didn't, which
she
probably
didn't.
means that you were so far off that she was like, "I can't help you."
This guy does not need to talk
Not
to
to
me
make this
today.
worse. I'm sorry.
Well, and then I finally did make some pose happen, and then yeah, you got to like hold it for a while, and I was very much like, when is this gonna be over? Like I cannot sit here anymore. Like I'm
This
like,
hurts.
yeah, I can understand why people like it. And I can see
Mhm.
that if I invest some time, like any physical activity, if I put some investment in, I could see how I'd get something out of it.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's tough.
Not for you. You should stick with it and try a different flavor. The classes that our studio near here, most of the ones that they have there that I've been to are vinyasa, which is like a little bit you move a little bit more
Hmm.
and more quickly, um, and it's more like like flows of things. You combine different flows, um, and it's different. Like I don't think it hurts as much as when you're holding something for
Mm.
a long time. Uh, some of like poses are a little more challenging, but again, you do what you can.
Yeah. You know what
Were
else?
you
I,
in
I
it?
was like
Oh,
constantly like, am I gonna hit somebody? Like when I do this,
yeah,
is someone's body gonna be there?
yeah,
They got you kind of crammed in there. I don't know.
yeah, for sure.
I just could
Um,
not get into any kind of headspace.
yeah, and that's not what it's supposed to be. Like, that's not uh, that's not fun for anybody if
Yeah.
you're just like thinking about that the whole time. Were you able to be in a spot where you could see the instructor doing poses
She was
instead of
walking
looking around
around.
at
She
other
didn't do
people?
any
She was walking
poses.
around the whole time. Okay, got it. Yeah, it's tough. That is tough. Sometimes they like our studio will offer like more beginner level where it's like we're just gonna teach you what the effing poses are.
This is probably what I should have done.
Yeah, yeah. That's cool though. I'm glad you went. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, thanks.
And
All right.
also for running. It's great.
Thanks.
Okay, I'm all set up over here.
Let's do
Let
it.
me move this screen off. If I look off to the side, that's what I'm looking at. And then let me figure out how to share my screen. Present, share screen, entire screen, that one. Okay, you should see my screen, and it has some code.
I got
on it.
it.
Does that sound
Yep.
right?
Totally.
You got it. Not, I cannot. Okay.
I can see
Okay.
it. It looks great.
Okay. John, let's do a little refresher where we are on here.
Yeah.
I think let's I'm just gonna I'm gonna do two things. First, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sit here and think about how I make my editor bigger. It is Shift Command lower plus. Yes, did it.
Nice.
Thank you. Let's try one more. That's plenty big, right?
Yeah, it's plenty.
Plenty big. Okay. So I'm gonna run my development environment here. Oops. This is because I'm in the wrong place. Let's just kill this one and open a new terminal, because I don't even know where that was. Okay. So let's do npm run dev. This is running Ray develop, and so you'll see Raycast pop up here. I still don't have a shortcut connected to it, but I have this go to Raycast better
Nice.
command. Now what we have here is we have a couple of different things in here. I think we had not set anything up. We basically had the Google one just go directly to a URL.
Yes. Yep.
But
we were a little more focused
also
on the
had-
GH one.
We were more focused on the GH one, which has the ability to then I can like this one will take me to a specific URL, but this one opens up two things. Polls will take me to a specific URL, or the asterisk, we call it our wildcard, and then I can type whatever I want here, and it's basically going to append that to the end of the URL. And so if I go to, oops, I keep forgetting, it's not just enter, it's command enter. I just went to community docs/issues.
Nice.
Cool. That's great. Oops, you don't need to see that. Where we left off the last time was we had just finished building that wildcard form.
Mhm.
The wildcard being the one where we fill in the text box, and it can be whatever freeform text I want to be there. And what we kind of scrambled through it. We were running out of time right at the end, and we left it, and we were like, well, I mean, I actually got to make this smaller. It's too big. It's too condensed. I can't see things. We were just like, maybe it's good, maybe it's not good. Let's talk about maybe refactoring how we have this code written. So one of the things that we talked about is if I look at the way that the code exists right now, we basically, as we iterate through the routes, if the route has length equals 0, and then we check to see if the route is the asterisk, and then we emit that wildcard. Otherwise, we emit a leaf, which is one that goes to a specific URL. Otherwise, a branch, which pulls up another menu that lists more things. One of the things that we talked about was, what if the wildcard, instead of being present, if I look at my routes, instead of being present as this is currently how it is right now, is it's a separate route on this array. We talked about, well, should we maybe do something like, can we just put this on everything, and say,
it could be a property of the parent.
Right, exactly. So maybe we could do something like this, and then we don't have to worry about this particular route. We can just say anything that has an asterisk on it, we'll also give you that option we'll emit that asterisk route first. Does that make sense too?
It does make sense to me, and I'm glad you're reminding me. This is not quite how I had envisioned it, but that's just quibbling about details. I don't know if you have more to say to get us up to speed before we dive into it.
I'm curious what you
I was thinking
thought about differently.
Yeah, I was expecting a key that's um, has wildcard or something, and then the
Mm-hmm.
value is like true or false.
Oh, okay.
And
Um,
then we just make some assumptions.
and then we just like slap it on to whatever the
Exactly.
URL is. Okay.
Exactly.
I'm just
I
trying to.
don't I don't know enough about your
Yeah, yeah.
rules here to know if that's, but
Yep.
that's what was in my head.
And I'm trying to think of if I have any. The reason that I would think of using this template is because like, what if there's more after it?
Sure.
But I can't think if I have that situation.
It's like
I
I've
guess
reached for an abstraction based on only one case, so it's possible
yeah.
the abstraction I'm reaching for isn't quite right. It kind of just depends on, adapting more of your rules.
Yep. So the one thing that I can think of is like on Google, on my whatever, a Google branch, I might have something like this where it's
Yeah, it
part of
differs from the
a
URL.
right. It's not the last parameter in the URL. It turns out that it is the last query string argument, and we could just slap it onto the back end of it, and it would work just fine. Um, but I think would feel a little more comfortable knowing that I have the flexibility there to put it anywhere in case some other one comes up. Does that make sense?
Sure. And I'm just, because we're just spitballing here.
Yeah,
What
because we're
if the
product
key
managers.
was like wildcard and then
Yeah.
it was an object and the object had like a template key and the template could be whatever you want. Anyway, I'm just like thinking of different approaches.
I think that that would work. I don't think. Oh my god, where is this key? There it is. Um, what else would if we were to make it an object? What else do you think would be useful
Yeah.
in there?
It only makes sense if there's something else in there. I guess I was thinking
Right.
wildcard would be the key. It would go to an object, yeah, pattern or template or whatever, and then you'd have like enable true or something like that. It's a little,
Uh,
you know, uh, maybe over
I
engineered.
cannot imagine myself ever setting this to false.
Right.
I think if it's there, I'm going to use it.
Yeah.
If that makes
Fair.
sense.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. So let's plan on this for right now. Well, I don't care if it's named wildcard or whatever. In the old version, I was using just the asterisk to represent this. So wildcard is fine.
I'm noticing that like on 15 you have quotes around the key, but maybe that would be like
Let's save it.
JSON. There we go.
It's yeah. I don't know. Yeah. JSON, JavaScript objects, whatever, who cares? But it is going to complain about it because this is now not
Yes.
part of our type, our interface. So what we could say is on the, let's see, name URL routes, name URL, so name URL routes. This can also have a wildcard that is a string. And now the types are satisfied. So that's good. Let me just add another terminal here, and I'm just gonna add this because whatever, feels clean.
Okay.
I'm not gonna commit it yet. Okay, so now we've stuck some wildcard properties into here. And so if we jump back to the route list, I'm going to try to collapse this so we can get more of an outline view of it. Let's see. So this is kind of the main thing where we're like branching through stuff. This is going to have to change here because now the route name is never going to be equal to asterisk.
I think you would do a const wildcard equals route dot wildcard or whatever, and then you could be like if wildcard, Yeah, there you go.
Oh my gosh. Okay. And then if
Wildcard.
yeah, so basically just if wildcard, right?
Because
Like
that will either
precedence of it.
be, yeah.
Wildcard branch list item. This is probably going to look a little bit different then. The wildcard branch list item, instead of taking a route, is really only going to want the wildcard, right?
Well, Interesting.
We're
I
passing the
guess
whole
you're
route through.
right. Because the name will now just be the string asterisk.
The name will be the string asterisk. I got
So
lost
sorry.
there.
So I think what you're saying is on 15, the wildcard branch list item no longer needs a route. Now it needs a wildcard. And that wildcard value is a string, and it's really the template, or the, what do you call it, the pattern.
Mm-hmm.
It needs the key just to satisfy React. So then if we go down to wildcard branch list item, its definition, so title on 54 would just be like hard coded to the string asterisk.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Sure.
Is that what you're
We can do
saying?
that. Yep. And then this,
Is not a destructured object.
it's really just going to be a string. I don't know what the name comes in the wildcard form. Oh, that's how we were passing the string. That's how we were passing the actual template. So, okay, so now this is just going to be wildcard is going to be whatever this comes from, that type, let's say. And then this is going to be wildcard form. Wildcard, I mean, we can call it something different.
Yeah.
It's getting a little bit like, I'm so unsure that this is actually the right thing to do. And there's a lot of changes here that I'm
Yeah.
concerned. So these things just keep changing in here. Like, we're gonna go really deep with this, and then it's gonna be wrong, and I'm gonna be like, I don't know where to unwind it to.
Yeah. Well, we can always get checked
Title
out.
is equal to, we just said, asterisk. Okay,
That's
like the types
probably
are
where we should have
not
started.
complaining anymore.
We should have started with hard coding asterisks, but whatever, doesn't matter. Okay, so this
Okay.
is probably green, correct?
It is not complaining.
Yeah.
So,
So how will we know this is
let's-
working? It says build extension successfully, and then you can like use it the way you expect. Wait, this is wrong.
So, yeah,
Oh
this
no,
is- No, because you know what it did is it just replaced the entire Google route. And I bet if I go here and I go to docs, then oh no, it's not going to. Oh, I'm super confused. What happened? Yeah, this is what I was worried about. There was just
Oh,
like
because
too
we-
much like
yeah.
tunneling.
Can we just get checkout? Let's just start over.
Yes, we can.
Blame John Alliard. I don't like seeing that.
Oh, we're gonna blame John for this one. Let's get into this. Okay, no changes. We're fresh.
But we do have changes in routes TS, correct?
Yes, because that's where we added the wildcard. Which I'm happy with that. I think that's fine. So the data structure I think makes sense at this point.
Okay. So it's kind of like,
We're both struggling.
we're like looping through an array, and we're at a parent, and then it's gonna spread its children to the next one. Oh, sorry, I kind of lost. Okay,
I just want to pull the routes next to us so that we can kind of walk through this. So, route list, remember this is a recursive component, I think, right? No, the route list itself is not recursive, but one of these things is. Oh yeah, no, it is, because it renders a route list from branch list. If it's a branch, it's recursive. Okay, so let's just imagine we come through here and we hit, Google's the quickest one where we'll hit a wildcard. So we're going to render the routes for, we're going to render this route. And what we see is routes.routes.length is 0. And so this actually I don't think is accurate. I don't think we're going to branch on this. I think what we're actually going to do is potentially do both of these things. Do you know what I mean? Because with this, what I would expect to see is one static Google that takes me to Google with no parameters, and one wildcard that takes me to Google with a parameter. I'm going to pause there.
This one is a little less clear to me than the prior one.
Okay, then let's walk through that one.
So when I was thinking about, so when we're at the level of GH and Google, we're rendering a single pass-through route list, and our routes.map on line 11 on the left-hand side is going to return 2 React components. For GH, it's going to return a branch list item. And for Google, prior to our changes today, it was returning a leaf list item because it did not have the wildcard thing.
Correct.
So I guess what I'm saying is at the GH and Google level, outdented as much as possible, there shouldn't be a wildcard there, correct?
I mean, I think that there's no reason. This is actually how I would define it: is Google can have a wildcard, because I don't want to just go to Google. I want to search for something, or potentially I do just want to go to Google because I can't figure out what I want to search for.
So then, shouldn't the URL just be? I guess I feel like we're saying 2 fundamentally different functionalities. One is that So I think we need a third element of this array. There's GH Google, which just goes to google.com, and then there's Google with a search term populated. What do you want to see here?
What I would expect is I would like to. That just went right there. But what I would like to be able to do is when I select Google, I would like to see basically what I see. I don't see
it's broken because of our changes.
We busted it. Oh yeah, because we got rid of the asterisk. I would like to see what we were seeing before in here, where there's Google itself and the asterisk, the wildcard. I think I understand suddenly what you're saying, though, is that this is really this is 2 things.
This would 2
be
concepts
nested one deeper. There would be a route for here, and there would be a route for here.
Right. But it's almost let's come back to Google, because I think we both had a stronger sense of how we wanted this to work on the GH side of the house.
Mm-hmm.
And
but okay, so what I would expect on the GH side is that when I expand docs, this is a top-notch episode here. When I expand docs, we were seeing polls and we were seeing asterisk, and I like seeing those 2 things there. When I look at this data structure now, we are going to fundamentally have to change it, because one of them is a route and one of them is a property on the parent route.
Yeah, I think what I was envisioning was as we map through our routes, and we're about to render a branch list item. Okay, let me see if I can try to say this again. Yeah, okay, so we're going through, and we get to docs. So docs is 1 level in. Its parent is GH. So we go to GH, we render that one. We go to docs, we render that one. Then imagine we're hanging out in this loop. We're on line 11. The docs object is coming in as route on line 11 of the left-hand side. Its route dot routes length is not equal to 0, so we fall down into the branch list item rendering on line 20. We pass in our route. Now if we command click on branch list item, we'll hop to its definition, and what it does is end up rendering a route list passing in the route dot routes. What we could do is, instead of passing in route dot routes when we are rendering an item that has a wildcard, we're gonna prepend to it. Yeah. So it's like that's the that's the moment where I was like, we know at the parent that we want to include a wildcard in the children.
You know what though, John? I have decided
stupid?
that I don't want to make this change.
Okay, let's do it. Let's
just
totally bail.
don't think it's. I don't think it's.
Yep.
I don't think it makes anything. It maybe makes this more terse a little bit, but I don't think it makes it any more clear. And in fact, I think it makes it more confusing.
We could barely even communicate to each other about how to do this.
Exactly.
So let's
We're
just
really
not do
struggling.
it.
Yeah. Okay. So let's get rid of this crap. All right. So we're done with the refactoring.
Yeah.
We're
done with that
We're not making
refactoring.
any changes. Yeah. Yeah. And you know, it kind of feels like one of those situations where, like, maybe you just don't even know what the abstraction is yet.
Yep.
So you're like, okay, let's wait until we see the abstraction again and get a better sense of that. So, okay. So I just removed a couple of console lines.
I think you had done
or
git
console
add
logs.
dot somewhere. I don't know where we
I
are
did.
in
I
terms of-
undid that. That
Okay.
was in the where we have the route list props. Or I'm sorry, here.
Yeah.
That was where we had added the wildcard. I removed it.
Wonderful.
So now all this is like, all I'm going to need to do is basically make sure that I add one of these. So now for Google too, Google is basically going to have two routes like this. It's going to have one. Let's get rid of all this noise. It's going to have one wildcard that goes to google.com/query equals whatever the thing is that you enter, and it's going to have one that just goes to Google. And I know this is Google. I'm not going to care.
Nice.
So if we're running this, then let's just do this. So now what I'll see is, oh, I want to go search for something. Do I want to actually enter it? Yes, let's enter, I don't know, lake effect snow. And then hit enter or command enter. Oh, and that's annoying, is that it actually takes me to here instead of the results page. It just means that I had the URL wrong. Or I can go here, and it's going to take me to the Google homepage. This is what happened over here.
Nice.
So this is fine. I can totally work with this. No biggie. Maybe not as like fancy as we were thinking, but I think that this is actually better because it's more clear.
Yep.
Okay. Cool. Let's just commit this and say add Google wildcard. Who cares? All right. So then the last thing that I want to do here is a little bit of exploration into the Raycast kind of API, which is, oops, not that one. What I want to do is figure out what I'd like is I don't want this. I don't want this hard-coded. I want to pull this from a configuration setting in Raycast. Basically so that I can use something different on my work computer than my home computer. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Because this, I don't care about all these things when I'm working at home.
Got it.
So,
do you want it to be configured the same, like always configured the same on a particular machine? You just want one machine to have a different configuration than the different machine? Or do you want to be able to like swap configurations on a single machine?
Yeah, I mean, I think the other thing that would be nice is not necessarily swapping, but being like, having it evolve over time without having to commit to the code base. To just be like, oh, I'm gonna like edit this JSON and insert some new rules here, because there's now a new project that I'm working on that I'm hitting a lot.
would this potentially be something you'd put like maybe in your dot files, and you could like symlink it, or like have your
It
dot files
could be
repo
something that
put-
is in my dot files. It what I think is more interesting is to explore the Raycast like API to stick it in a configuration setting, because that feels like we're more using the tool as it's intended to be used. You know what I mean?
like and let Raycast do the. Yeah, I guess maybe say a little bit more. So you're thinking that.
So if I go to let's see, go to extensions, Raycast settings, and I look at like what's something that has different settings in here, like this script command. Like if I add, how do I add a script command? Not that way, that's for sure. Snippets. No, that's because that's storing. I don't know actually where that's storing the data for it. But I'm sure that there's something that I can't think of where I have seen it, but there's a way to go in here and basically configure a specific
You could probably see this screen for
tool.
GoTo, couldn't you?
For say that again.
If you click on the GoTo
This one, the old one.
No, the one that we're working on.
This one.
I thought we had a. Oh, you know what? This has kind of changed since we started working on it. At some point, we had edited our package JSON file, I thought, to include a stanza about configuration that showed up here.
Oh, I don't remember that at all.
Or was that,
that's I think
or was that when I was
looking for.
demoing the artsy one to you? Anyway, yeah,
That
I know what
might
you're
be
talking
what
about.
it is. Yeah. Yeah. Why can't I figure out how to how do you
This
change
is a-
settings?
I'm not sure this is like a very widely used feature.
Oops. Ah. Oh, I'm just hitting keystrokes over here. Settings, Raycast settings, system settings, account Raycast settings.
Can I show you my screen and maybe
Yeah,
show you what I'm
please.
thinking of?
Yes, please.
All right, share screen. Tire this on, share, move you over here. So here's the artsy staff Raycast extension, and then
Yes!
in this panel I have text
This is
fields.
exactly what I'm looking for.
So are you thinking that this would be a path to a location on your system?
It could be, or it could just be like static. It could just be JSON that I just dump it in. I don't really care.
As your friend, please don't just dump JSON in a text field in here. I
Why?
would, because, so let's say you're getting a new laptop. Wouldn't it be nice to be able to just like find a file on your system and move it to the new laptop and come in here and copy paste?
John, I do crap
Okay.
like this all the time. It does not.
All right.
But
Okay.
but okay, fine. So let's give it a file path. Or okay, so this is where you're saying like a dot files, just to have a standard location for a file in my root instead of
Yeah.
configuring it. Is that what you're saying?
Well, you can kind of pick your poison here. So like here, what I said was preferences. That's what they call it. So
Yep.
you add a preferences key to your package JSON, and then, so for example, I named one of them project root path, gave it a text field, and then whatever. And so
Yep.
now you could provide a default or something, you know, rule, like go to rule path or whatever, and then, you know, maybe it's like home folder dot.
Right. Sure.
I don't know, whatever. Oops, I don't know how to use things.
Okay, that would be fine too. Yeah, we can do that. I really don't care. I just want to be able to set something in the settings that so that I can pick something different on each computer. So I think it's just what you just did, except we point it at a specific file, and then allow me to change it on one computer, so that it's pointed at the other one, because whatever I put there is going to end up in my .files repo, right? And I'm going to have a work one and I'm going to have a personal one.
Got it.
And then just on my personal one, I'm going to be like, use the personal one instead of
Mm.
the work one.
Yeah, so your .files repo or whatever your thing is will ensure that the file exists where it's supposed to on your system. And theoretically, a new laptop would get that new .files repo and would put that file in the right spot. And then it's a matter of going to the extensions preferences and making sure the path is the one that you want. Okay, yeah, that seems legit.
Yes. Okay. So let's add a preference. Then I think is what we're trying to do, right?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Is that a line? Okay. All right. You can see my screen again. Nope, you can't.
Nope.
Now you can. Okay. So let's start with the just adding the preference. You were in the. Is it in the package JSON? Is that where that
Yes,
is defined?
it is.
No.
Mhm.
Is it?
Yes, it
Under
is.
commands? Next to
Doesn't
commands.
yeah, it doesn't super matter. I like to have commands and preferences together, but
Let's look for it here. Preferences.
I mean,
No
come on.
results for preferences, but I can ask AI preferences. That seems not right. Is this the same
What if-
interface? Nope, it's not.
Do you have any thoughts about that?
I do.
That developer experience that you just had?
I didn't enjoy it. Okay, so I'm expecting to see some sort of like package JSON thing. Preferences are configured in the manifest. Maybe that'll tell me.
Hey, look at that.
Preference properties use the preferences API to access their values. Okay, fine. So what I want is an example, honestly. I'm not going to get one.
You are not gonna get one.
Okay, so command properties. I just want to see this to see kind of what it looks like, to know that when I do this. So I think what you were saying is it's going to be a sibling of commands.
Correct.
And so I'm going to have preferences.
Preferences is an array, just like commands is. Commands are.
GitHub Copilot wanted it to be something different.
And then each element is an object.
And then an object with. Do we know what's in there?
You're
Is
gonna
that
probably
what's in
want
there?
name.
I think
And
that's what's in
title.
there. Title? Name? Name. I don't know. I'm just gonna name them things. Title, Steve title, so that I can see how they have an effect. So, okay, so I've added, oh, it's still not happy about that. It's missing other things. Label, data, description. Label, Steve label. Description.
Who's doing this completion? This is kind of nice.
GitHub Copilot. Type text.
Sorry,
maybe?
I didn't mean completion. I meant the complaining about the missing keys.
Oh yeah, I have no idea how it knows to do that. It does not like type text, so let's just get rid of that one and see what it is telling me I'm missing.
Text
I am
field.
missing data type and required. Text field.
Yeah. All one word.
Data. Only valid for drop downs, but I don't. I'm
No.
not using a drop-down.
You just want type and then the value is text field.
Like that.
Yep. And then you can get rid
And then
of
I
it.
don't need data. Let's
Correct.
find out. Correct. And then required. Required. We're gonna make it true, and we're gonna give it a default value too. And this is all fine. Let's
I
just
believe
do it this way so we can
default
see it happen.
should be. I think it should just be default, not default value.
Copilot. Okay, so that's a thing. If I go to here, then can I see that in extensions? Is that where I see that?
Yes.
And if I go to this guy, I don't see anything here. I wonder if it's because I have to restart it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That seems like the kind of thing that wouldn't be picked up until you do a fresh start.
Yeah.
Extensions.
Hey, look at that.
So there it is. So Steve default, Steve title. I don't. There's like so many other fields here, and I don't really like. Okay, so type and required, I understand. Default, I see. Description, I don't see.
I thought it was
Label,
on
I
hover.
don't see. Title, I do see. Name, I don't see. Fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we're gonna actually name this is we're gonna say, go to path. It doesn't like that for some reason.
I think it'd just
So
be like
now
go-to
like
path.
that.
I'm not sure you would need that dot there.
I was just thinking that that's the name of the file.
No, this is like name of the preference when you programmatically reference it in your code.
I understand. I just
Oh.
was thinking it was more clear that I was telling you what the path is to the .goto file. Do you know what I mean? Just like
No.
that.
But go-to path on line 19 is a variable name.
Yes, I understand that. I just
So you'd
I
be
was
like
trying
dot-
to be
dot
very
go to
clear
Okay.
within parentheses, square bracket parentheses.
Okay.
Label. I think this. I can't remember if we saw that one or not.
You could just use the
Description.
same thing for all these.
We're gonna. Oops. Ah. It's a text field still. It's going to be required, and this is going to be that /.goto.
Done.
Should I? Do you think? I think I should name this .goto.json so that it's clear that it's JSON.
Nice.
How's that sound?
Sounds great.
Oops. Ugh. I'm trying to do things that I got no business trying to do. Okay. All right. So we now have that. It doesn't like this description. That's funny. Who cares? So if I go, welcome to Raycast Better. Oh, look it. That's fun. Before you start using it, you need to add a few things to the settings. That's fantastic. I love it. It's
Did you
out of
say it
date.
said? Did you see it said Steve title?
Because it was old.
Hmm.
Okay, so we're gonna say that it goes there, right?
Nice.
Perfect. Look, it loads everything. That's not what we actually want. I'm gonna make a quick commit here, and this is going to be, oops, define preference.
Yeah.
And then we're running out of time here. The other thing I want to do is I want to say, let's say, touch root /goto.json, and then let's open in here .goto root.goto.json, and I'm going to actually capture everything that is in routes.ts, and I'm going to remove it like that, and I'm going to stick it in here, except it's not JSON because it goes down quotes and it can't do comments. Okay, and then we're gonna do one more thing in here, just so that we know that it's pulling from the right place. Okay, so now this is not actually going to come from anywhere, and
Right.
what's funny is we don't really care about this type anymore because we're never actually going to be able to confirm that.
Not quite, sir. So you're gonna need to import get preference values from Raycast/API, and when you invoke that hook, you pass it a type.
Wait, I bet I can say that. Here, preferences API. Is that where that comes from? Yeah, preference
Yes.
values. Oh,
Nailed it.
cool. Example. Let's just copy this,
Yeah, basically.
and then put that in there. Interface route import get preference values. That's the top. Interface preferences. No. This is actually going to be.
You can kill 9 to 13. That's just an example.
Okay.
And then you're going to get preference values, and you're going to pass in route.
An array of routes, right?
Sure.
Oops. What is this keystroke? There it is.
Oh shit, did I lead you astray here?
Uh-oh.
It might be that there's a wrapping object.
Let's go look.
I think you're right that it is like interface preferences, and then
Be like
oh,
routes.
because the key is
Oh yeah, because it's not this. It's a string.
I'm
The
sorry.
key is actually a string.
Yeah.
It's the path to the thing.
Yeah.
So the interface is actually, what did we call it?
Go to path.
Go to underscore path.
Yeah.
Go to underscore path is a string. That's the only one that we get.
Yep.
And then, so we're gonna get it from in this commands thing here.
Well, that's kind of like simulating a, some Raycast UI. So wherever we were importing the routes, which is probably in that route list TSX file, one tab to the left.
Yep.
This is actually where we need to be doing that get preferences call. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, what I was thinking is we could just export it from here. Like whatever it is, just export it from here.
I just don't know if you can call get preference values outside the context of a component.
Okay. Okay,
So
that's fine.
Kind of messes a little bit with our world, but
Let's just grab then. I'm gonna get rid of this thing for now. Oops. And then in here, just dump everything right now. Okay, so, and this isn't going to come from here anymore. So we have the interface for the route, we have the interface for the preferences. We have now, but I still don't understand this. This I think now has to happen
correct.
Here.
Mm-hmm.
But we only want it to happen at the top level. We don't want to get it every single time.
Oh, you know what? Is
'Cause
it
it's
index.tsx where we do the initial
Command right
Yeah,
there.
that's
Yeah, okay.
why.
Okay, yeah. I would much rather put it in here.
Sorry.
Then
So maybe we should like check out
So
all
let's
these changes.
back this out. Okay, this is sturdy here. And then this we're gonna end up not using this routes.ts, right? Except
I
for
think.
maybe
I mean,
we might need
It
to
could
type.
be it could
We
be
might
a
need to
type.
type.
But if it's just
Um,
one interface, we may just inline it here.
Okay, so then here we're gonna get we import the route list, and then we also are gonna import get preference values, the command. This is gonna move down to this command. We're gonna get rid of this one that we pasted in, and so now we have preferences, and so now we're gonna do a thing like,
Shit, we need to like read off the disk.
yeah. Read
It's
file.
10.
It's 10. We're done. You didn't finish. Okay. And then what we'll do with this is like, then once we have this, it'll be like routes
Right.
will be the result of that action. We'll pass it into here.
Right. Oops. I lost you.
Okay. So we're real close, but we're not going to finish today. Should I finish this on my own, or do you want to do this together?
I wouldn't be upset if you finished it on your own and maybe did a quick show and tell.
Okay. Do you want to plan to do show and tell next time?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to know. I want to know how you read off disk.
I mean, it should just be like, isn't it just going to be like standard Node
Yeah, I wonder if you can just import like a FD
API
thing or something.
like file API?
Mm-hmm. I guess we'll see.
I'll find out. I'll let you know what I find. John, this is like a whole lot of like churn episode. Not much to show compared to
I
when we
think
started.
sometimes when there's a gap between our episodes, it takes us a little bit to get
It's
going.
harder.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, the good news is we didn't talk for half an hour.
it's
But
true.
it's still 45 minutes of coding. We didn't get anywhere.
Yeah.
That's not true. We got places. We learned that we didn't want to do that refactor because
Yes.
it didn't make anything more clear.
And
we
sometimes
also
not
learned-
writing code is the best thing, the best use of
Yes.
time you
Yeah.
can have.
Yep. And you also talked me off the ledge of storing the JSON in the setting file, which I think might have killed you had I done it.
Yeah, that's correct.
So like those are learnings.
Yeah,
learn
this is all
things.
good stuff.
I like, and I do now in hindsight. Like now that I understand what you were describing, I definitely like the idea of reading from a file that I can store in my dot files. So thank you.
Only thing is, it might be kind of against Raycast best practices to
Yeah.
be every single time reading off disk like that. But
Yeah, that might be a thing that I have to figure out also. I'm sure, because I'm sure that people are doing things like this, right? Like
yeah,
some sort of configuration file.
we'll figure it out. We're smart.
Whatever. I'll figure it out.
You'll
and
figure
then I'll
it
come
out.
back and I'll show it to you. And then we're done with this project.
Yep.
Honestly. So,
All right, Steve.
For the next time, think about what you want to work on next.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, John.
All right, bye. Love you too. Bye.
Love you.